In the heart of a small Yoruba town lived a wealthy businessman named Kunle. Known for his kindness and generosity, Kunle had lost his wife in a difficult childbirth. The baby had also developed some brain damage in the process. He had to care for their motherless, intellectually challenged child, Ibrahim. A missionary pastoring the local church had been very helpful throughout. He had come visiting the sick when he heard Kunle wailing for his wife, pleading with her not to go. The young missionary had held his hands during the painful transition and mourning period, spending days at his side and arranging for the care for baby Ibrahim. In his despondency, he was in no condition to take care of himself, let alone a challenged baby. In appreciation, he rented a room in his compound to Pastor Samuel, who, despite being a missionary, had become a trusted neighbor. The pastor's presence brought a sense of peace and tranquility to the household. He bonded with Ibrahim, teaching him simple lessons and offering companionship. He became Kunle's trusted friend and confidant. Al-Haji, as most people called Kunle, thought Pastor Samuel was wise for his age and refreshingly non-judgmental. Pastor Samuel had encouraged him to marry Amina when asked for counsel, saying it would be good for him. Though Kunle had misgivings because of her brother, Khalid, who had open jihadist sympathies. Kunle hated violence, would rather negotiate and de-escalate than go for violence. Despite his personal misgivings, Kunle bowed to pressures from his extended family, and especially his friend's superior logic. However, a storm was brewing that would shatter his peace and hurt him emotionally when learned his pastor friend betrayed his trust. His friends had warned him never to trust the pastor. He was too good to be true. Well, let's not rush ahead of ourselves in the story. Amina, Kunle's new wife, was a 17-year-old, beautiful but troubled woman, haunted by a past trauma and fear which made her manipulative. A few months after the wedding, which was done according to local rites and custom, Kunle had gone to town for some business while Samuel was having his morning prayer and study before going out. But he was distracted by the giggling and running around of the kids, as he and Al-Haji fondly called Amina and Ibrahim. He had to remind himself that Amina was no longer a kid, but a married woman. Looking out through his window, he could see into the garden lawn separating his small apartment from the main building. Amina and Ibrahim were play wrestling in the garden. Ibrahim is laughing and squealing as Amina tickled him, urging her to stop. Amina, laughing, pinned him to the ground and continues to tickle him. Ibrahim is unable to resist, and they both laugh. "I'm going to get you next time," the boy says. Concerned, Samuel quickly goes to the garden to intervene. She still thinks she is a kid, thought Samuel. Anyone seeing this would be scandalized. Pastor Samuel called to them. "Children, what are you doing?" Amina and Ibrahim quickly sat up, startled. "We were just playing pastor," Amina says, blushing and a bit embarrassed. Pastor Samuel continued, "I see. But remember, Amina, as a young lady, it's not appropriate to engage in such rough play." Amina, looking down, "I'm sorry, Pastor. I won't do it again." Pastor Samuel added, "That's good. Remember, always be mindful of your behavior and the impression you make on others." Pastor Samuel smiles and pats Ibrahim on the head. Pastor Samuel urged them, "Now, let's go inside and have some tea." Amina and Ibrahim follow the pastor into the house. Some weeks later, Al-Haji had to go on a 3-month journey for some training and meetings at the factory HQ of the company he represented. This was to promote him from wholesaler to main distributor for the entire district. He felt his family was in good hands, despite never having to be away for so long. A few days after, in the evening, Samuel was reading a novel. The spicy story was causing some illegal stirrings in his body. He immediately flung the book away. The heat was oppressive and he was dressed only in shorts. He went into the bathroom to shower water on himself. He closed his eyes, lifting his face to the shower head as the cool water cascaded down. Suddenly, the door burst open, and Amina, totally nude, entered. She stood there as if rooted, looking at him wide-eyed. "Hey, get out!" Samuel shouted. When he got to his room, he found her curled up in the bed, crying. "I am dead," thought Samuel. "You shouted at me," she said through her tears. He apologized. "I came because our shower was not working and I am hot. I did not know anyone was inside. Please, cover up," he hushed her. "If Al-Haji should find out you were here naked, he would kill me." "But you are friends," she said. "He trusts you, and you are like father to me." She quickly covered up. This girl was not only crazy, but dangerous, Samuel thought. His time here was definitely up. Once Al-Haji returned, he would find an excuse to pack out immediately. The following days, try as he may, he could not get the image of that naked body out of his mind. He tried to avoid her as much as practical. She acted as if nothing was amiss. But it was clear there was a power shift in their relationship. She now acted with authority, often overruling him, to the surprise of the cook and the gardener. She now knew she had the power to destroy him, and seemed ready to use it. He had to defer to her, no matter how unreasonable her demands, because she now had the upper hand, and they both knew it. He had to be very, very careful. His standing with Al-Haji was in danger. He had overstayed. He had broken the cardinal rule. Do not be unequally yoked. He eagerly looked forward to Kunle's return, so he could cut himself off totally from this family, especially from this crazy girl. Kunle finally returned from his 3 months business trip. He was not worried when he learnt his young wife, Amina, was ill at the hospital. He went to check up on her. However, his peace was shattered when the doctor confirmed she was 2 months pregnant. She was on her period when he travelled. To his shock, she accused Pastor Samuel of forcing himself upon her. Kunle confronted Samuel. Samuel said they should talk privately, but the family and police said he should talk openly if he had nothing to hide. His denial sounded lame. The accusation that Pastor Samuel had assaulted Amina spread like wildfire through the town, tarnishing the pastor's reputation and bringing great shame to Amina's family. The rumor spread like wildfire through the town and quickly gained momentum, fueled by gossip and prejudice. The once respected missionary was now a pariah, ostracized by the community. Amina's brother, Khalid, a radical jihadist, was enraged by the accusation and vowed revenge. He vowed to avenge his sister's honor, no matter the cost. One dark night, he confronted the pastor in a secluded alleyway. A violent struggle ensued, ending in tragedy. The pastor was found dead the following morning, his body bearing the marks of a brutal assault. A section of the town was gripped by fear and sorrow. The murder of the beloved missionary had shattered their sense of security. But most of the town, blinded by prejudice and fear, believed Khalid's justification for the murder. But the truth was worse than what they believed. Khalid, meanwhile, escaped into the wilderness, joining his fellow jihadists. As the investigation into the pastor's death unfolded, a series of events led to the unraveling of the truth. Amina's pregnancy test results revealed that the child was not the pastor's. Furthermore, an autopsy of the pastor's body revealed that he had been killed by a weapon consistent with the type used by jihadists. Amina, faced with the evidence, confessed to manipulating Ibrahim into having relation with her. And, consumed by guilt and fear, she had lied about the assault. The child she was carrying was not the pastor's, but Ibrahim's. She had manipulated the innocent boy, driven by a twisted desire for control. When Amina became pregnant, she felt a pang of guilt and shame. She knew the child was not Kunle's, but she was too afraid to confess the truth. The townspeople were stunned, their previously held beliefs shattered. The shocking revelation forced the town to confront their prejudices and the consequences of their actions. The once respected pastor, now a victim of a terrible misunderstanding, was mourned by the community. Kunle, heartbroken by the loss of the pastor, his dear friend, and the betrayal of his wife, must now find a way to rebuild his life and restore peace to the community. Kunle was devastated by the revelation. He had trusted his wife, and she had betrayed him in the most profound way. Many in the community felt she deserved to be jailed or at least excommunicated for her deception that led to the death of an innocent man and her defiling of a minor. Yet, despite his pain, he knew that Amina needed help, not punishment. With his influence, Amina was sentenced to 6 months in a neuropsychiatric hospital for evaluation. There, he hoped she will get counseling and rehabilitation. Also, being a hospital environment, her pregnancy will be better managed. The town was left reeling from the tragedy. The loss of the pastor had created a void that would be difficult to fill. But amidst the sorrow, there was also a sense of hope. The truth had been revealed, and justice had been served. Kunle, once again, found himself alone. But he was determined to rebuild his life and create a better future for himself and his son, and hopefully soon, a grandson. He continued to honor the memory of the pastor, striving to live a life that would make him proud.